happening, everyone? Today, we've got Serge with us.
Yes, sir.
The Surge Protector. Lieutenant Surge himself. So, let's rewind back a little bit. So you came over here today.
Yep.
Just on a whim, but doing what exactly?
So the main project we have going on is talking to the community members about like a housing unit that's going to be developed for teachers and staff of the school district, pretty much. And we're just getting feedback from people just to see what they want implemented to this project. So right now the project is in like phase 2 of development. So they still got a lot of things to figure out, like if they're going to build single home housing or like a complex type thing. But for now, we're just getting feedback from the community. So far, people have been really supportive of it, but there's a couple of people I've spoken to that don't want it to happen because they think it's going to be for like low income housing and like Section 8 type housing.
So for people that may not be familiar with the area, it's more of like, so there's a park over there and they plan on building and there's an empty field behind the park.
Right.
And so they plan on building some, like a small housing development almost for teachers and staff over there, right? That work for the school district. And, I mean, it's already approved, so it's going to happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
But you're getting kind of like the feedback as like, almost like a focus group or like a survey kind of thing. Like you're
technically like a survey type thing, like community survey, I guess you can say.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so you out here, I'll say that we get a lot of like the walk around sales guys.
Oh yeah.
And obviously you're not selling anything.
Yeah.
But you have to, the people see you come up, they have to assume that you are.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you get? I mean,
so what I'm getting here compared to, because I worked in Montana before, like I told you before, I worked there as like a political canvasser.
Oh.
But compared to politics and something for the community, it's a whole nother ball game. So they don't look at me as like a salesman or whatever, because I have like before I never had like a little name tag or whatever. So I look more official, I guess you can say, but I haven't had any negative people or anything like that so far. But
really?
Yeah. So nobody has really said anything bad.
People aren't like, we don't want any.
Oh, no. I mean, I had maybe 1 or 2 people do that. I mean, but it's very rare, I would say.
Oh, really?
Because politics and community-oriented things, it's like two different things, you know what I mean?
Well, especially because it's not, like, this isn't necessarily political. It's just like, like, what are you worried about having all these people living there, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know? And like I said, put some cameras up there because we could use them at the park. That park is right there. And of course, sometimes my kids play at that park. And so, and we had like an issue with homeless people and, they lit something on fire back there.
Yeah. I actually went back there to try to find the kingpin homeless guy you're talking about.
Did you find him?
No.
He's got a Harley.
Didn't find nothing, man.
They call him Jalapeno.
Yeah. I was looking for it, man.
I think.
Yeah. I went back there. I walked maybe like 5 minutes or so. I'm like, nobody here.
Yeah, no, it's a good walk now. And I think because they used to use that like spillway as almost like a toilet.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get a whole lot of rain that year.
Yeah.
So it just
got some natural waters out there.
Eventually it washed down, but for a while it was just. It was kind of like we were talking about earlier. Remember, because I told you like I think it was 65% of the people that poop outside are in India.
Oh wow!
And so I think it was 85% of that are people that are below the poverty line that poop outside in India. And so there's a certain amount of people that just poop outside here too.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, that statistic is not native to India.
So they're the minorities.
Well,
minorities, I should say.
Here, over there, they're the goat. They're the goat of like pooping outside so far.
Yeah.
But we will catch them. We can.
Yeah, they hold the title for now. So.
I mean, if you were to compare San Francisco or even like downtown Sacramento, maybe not Sacramento, but like Yeah, it would be a run for their money, percentage wise.
Right.
You know, but you went into Montana and did like the political canvassing.
Yeah. So we're pretty much canvassing for like the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm. That's the safe one to do up there.
Yeah. No, for sure, 100%, man, 100%. So the main demographic over there was, like you said, Republican. Mm-hmm. But I did get a lot of like Kamala supporters and like I think his name was John Tester or something like that. And he's been a senator there for like 10 plus years. So this new guy comes in, Tim Sheehy, that's who we're canvassing for. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they didn't really like him for some reason, even though the people I was talking to are Republican. They say, what's this rich out-of-stater doing in Montana?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they look at him as like, who's this new guy on the block, you know? Although he has the same like interests aligned with them, they still didn't trust that guy. But the majority of people still said they're going to vote for him regardless, just because he's a Republican.
Well, when you get into politics, like, it's almost like they just can't help to make money.
Right.
You know?
I mean, just, at the end of the day, yeah.
You know, like, depending, either side, it's just like, gosh, you just are all of a sudden a magnet for money.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You know, we should be so lucky.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, like I say, it's both sides. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, there are no poor politicians. You know, and if there are poor politicians, then that just means they haven't been sworn in yet.
Or they're just really bad at it.
Yeah, or they're bad at it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, I imagine even like you probably didn't get a whole lot of like hostile, or did you?
Yeah. So pretty much they have us bunk with a roommate that's pretty much on the project. And my roommate actually had multiple guns pulled on him. Yeah. So he had an AK pulled on him, some handguns pulled on him. And when I was literally 2 minutes down the street. So I was going to do the same housing units he was going to do. But for some reason, I decided to go that way. And
was he doing the Republicans too?
Yeah. Same Tim Sheehy.
So Democrats have guns now?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So the dude pretty much just pulled up on him in his truck and told him to get the fuck out of his community, and got out the car with an AK pointing at him. And my roommate was just tomato red when I saw him. The guy said, "If I ever see you again, I'm gonna shoot you." You know, things like that. I'm like, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't me, but it's fucked up that it happened to him.
Yeah, mark that one down as already visited.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So that whole precinct got removed from our maps. We didn't have to go back there again, due to obvious reasons. But
I think you probably could have convinced him. Maybe, I don't know. You should have tried harder.
Going there with a straw hat and a little straw sticking out your mouth, something like that.
Man, whew.
Yeah. But I mean, most of the people I talked to they're actually really friendly, man. Besides the Democratic people, I mean, I'm personally, bro, I'm like in the middle. I don't do this or that, like Republican or Democrat. I don't know too much information about it, to be honest. But a lot of the people I spoke to over there, the Democratic ones, they're really hostile, which is ironic.
In Montana,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you think about it, like, put yourself in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
You are completely surrounded, you know?
Right.
And there's a lot of land, and there's a lot of trees that all your enemies can hide in. You know, you're surrounded.
Right.
And so I'm not surprised that they're armed.
Yeah.
But that does suck that they were hostile. I mean,
yeah.
The AK, that's wild. I mean,
yeah.
Banana clip and everything, huh?
Probably, man. I'm glad I didn't get to see it, but I mean, I was told that story, and his face was red, and I think he was crying. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I may have shit my pants if somebody.
Oh no, for sure, 100%. I mean, I'm in a state that I've never been to before. I'm canvassing for a Republican that I don't really know much about, to be honest. Just that, hey, here's a flyer, vote for him, you know. So
wow.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, everybody is armed over there. I mean, I spoke to old ladies that are like 80 years old, 85 years old with a handgun just on their side, you know. They're like, hey, there's a bear here the other day. I'm like, oh shit, really? I went back to the car. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a very real, you know, I mean, like, you go out to your car and there's a bear or there's a mountain lion or something. It's like, when it comes down to it, blow that thing away.
Oh no, 100%, yeah.
You know, and with a bear, I mean, I don't know if an old lady would really survive because any kind of gun that you would be able to stop a bear with has got a hell of a recoil.
Right.
You know, and I mean, I don't know, shoot and then the arm flies off. Maybe it's worth it.
Right.
I don't know.
I think the lady had like a 22 or something like that. I mean, I don't think that's going to do much damage.
Oh, that's nothing.
So, yeah.
For a bear, I don't know
but
about that.
She seemed very proud about it. Like, yeah, I got my handgun right here. You know, I'm like, good for you.
Well, it's good she's got something though. I mean, because at least that will protect you from people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as long as they're not on like PCP, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, people out there seem like really friendly. Honestly, like I didn't really get too many like bad apples, but I did get like a couple crazy women, Democratic, and I bring that up again because I'm like surprised that the Republicans were like very kind. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, I'm not Democratic or Republican, but the Republicans were very nice to me.
Well, you had it was also. I mean, it's just like maybe I don't know. Maybe there's just a lot of them there.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just. They're just so used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I've actually never been there. I really want to go there.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful place, man. Trust me. That's where they filmed the show Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone. That's right. I was going to ask about that. Yeah, you watched that show?
Personally, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my bucket list.
Same here.
Yeah.
You know, same here.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah, for sure. One day.
But so you... obviously, you kind of dodged a bullet in a way, you know, by not going with that AK.
Oh, yeah.
But you, before we were actually filming, you told me about a different way that you kind of dodged a bullet.
Oh, yeah. So pretty much when I go up to a door, when I was canvassing, my real name is Sergey, but over there was no Sergey. There was a John. So I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, I'm John. I'm with this and this, and we're doing this. And I felt more safe. Yeah, because if they see, oh, Sergey, what are you, Russian or something? What are you, spy? Huh? What are you doing over here in my property? Get the fuck out of here.
Did they say Prussian with the P?
Oh, no, Russian.
Oh, okay, because that's a throwback. Wow.
Oh, no, that's old school.
Yeah.
That's old school right there.
It's like saying the Yugoslavians or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But actually, I was talking about the time you dodged a bullet as far as like the Armenian genocide.
Oh.
Yeah, because that was a bigger one.
Oh, okay.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, so pretty much my family, they came from Armenia, but they lived in a city called Mingichaur. It's in Azerbaijan. And pretty much everybody was friendly. Christians, Muslims, they're all brothers and sisters. They all went to school together. They would eat together. They would hang out just like any other body. But there came a point where I don't know what it was. The government was like anti-Armenian or something like that. Just like the 1915 genocide. Like the Turks and the Armenians, they weren't really like on par with each other anymore. But something happened that sparked like a war. I could say, like a war. So pretty much my family, they were notified by their neighbors that, hey, there's a group of people going around killing Armenians in the area, so you should pack your stuff and get the hell out of here. So my father and my mother, the three kids, my three brothers, my older brothers, I should say, they all left to, I think, Moldova or Ukraine after that, and then to Russia. And my auntie, they were already flying to America soon, so they said, hey, you want to join us? My family was like, fuck yeah. Get the fuck out of this war-torn... you know what I mean? So, yeah, then they ended up going to, I should say. Technically, me too. I was in my mom's womb or whatever.
You're chilling there?
Yeah, I was just chilling there.
Yeah, for first-class tickets.
Yeah, first-class tickets. Yeah, she was like, I think...
All you can eat.
Yeah, she was like 6 months pregnant or something like that. 6-7 months. Normally, they don't let people that are, like, pregnant that far out on planes because then you get, like, the citizen cheat code. So, I mean, I guess I did up, down, left, right, you know what I mean, a couple times.
The Konami code.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And then, I ended up becoming a citizen out here. My brothers, they ended up, my mom actually became a citizen too, and my father too, before he passed away. But I was blessed to become a citizen here and grow up in this great country, though.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I had anything to do with it, obviously, but, you know, it's... that's a wild way to get over here.
Yeah.
You know, and just to think like my aunt, she was in Iran during the hostage taking, right?
Oh, okay.
She's one of them. And she had a little baby during that time. And, you know, it was a baby. It wasn't like a fetus.
Yeah.
But, you know, in order to, like, get her out of the building, she, like, pinched his toe or something and, like, had him keep screaming and, like, to get out of there, you know?
Yeah,
and it's just... To be in one of those situations that ends up being, like, oh, yeah, you remember that? Like, that was a bit, like, a historical event. Like, you got right out of there and... Oh, imagine if your dad, like, that neighbor, like, imagine if, like, you had a dog and that dog was constantly shitting on your neighbor's lawn and your neighbor was like, fuck those guys. Yeah. You know, you'd be like, I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah.
And that would be it.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's why, I mean, neighbors are very important. That's why I have them on the show all the time. Love you guys.
Yeah.
But, you know, like it's so, anything could have been any little thing that was different.
Yeah.
And you're not here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. If it wasn't, I think, for my dad's friend, then yeah, I don't think I would be here today, honestly. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So, cheers to that, I guess.
Yeah, cheers. Hell, cheers to that. Yeah. Oh, you got the mean bunny. You got the chainsaw bunny.
Yeah, I've never seen this in my life, and it's pretty good, actually. 8%. My cup of tea.
Yeah. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of spirit that we like here on Caught in the Moment.
Yeah.
But you were saying your dad and your uncle, they fought in the very first Afghanistan war.
So my
the Soviet side.
My dad was never in Afghanistan. He was in Hungary.
Oh, Hungary.
For 2 years, I believe, of the like mandatory military service. He was like a tanker, like on the BMP. It's like a Russian tank or I don't know too much about it, like a light tank or something like that. But yeah, he didn't really see much action, honestly. I mean, just the basic stuff, training here, you know, on the sniper post sometimes. No action, no deaths, nothing like that. But it was my aunt's husband who went to Afghanistan.
We could call him uncle.
Yeah, uncle. Okay, yeah.
We can.
Call him uncle.
He's deserved it.
Yeah. But he didn't never talk to me anything about being in Afghanistan. I don't know if there's something that happened or just never like talking about it. But yeah.
Man, you never really hear that kind of side of the story, you know, because back then, and actually, it's a funny thing, 'cause like I dated this girl when I was like, I think 15 or something. She was like my first girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And she had this shirt from the 80s that was like, it said "Arm the Taliban."
Oh shit.
You know, it's like from the 80s because it was, you know, obviously because it was the U.S. versus Soviet Union at the time, and we obviously that's when we created Al Qaeda.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you know, Mujahideen, or you know, like that's when we started that. And then you look today, and it's just, oh yeah, we made that same mistake.
Yeah.
We took a shit and we stepped in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I mean, that's a shitty metaphor. But
no pun intended.
Yeah, maybe. But you never, like, history has that way of repeating itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just wild. And
it's just crazy to think that you're fighting the people you armed, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just wild to me.
Well, and that's kind of there's only a few countries that arm people,
right,
really.
Right.
You know,
mean, yeah,
like
that makes sense.
That's also the thing. And in those countries, there's only a few companies that arm people, and every few years, there's less and less. You know, and what was 25 defense contractors now funneled down to like 4 or 5,
like a monopoly.
You know, yeah. And it's just it's a little bit of it's almost too corporatized, you know what I mean? It's like the business of killing people is too good.
Yeah. No, it's a very profitable business for sure.
And you know, you see with like India and Pakistan that, you know, obviously Pakistan is they have F-16s and they have, I think, J-10s, which is American and Chinese fighters.
Yeah.
They have American and Chinese. And India has Russian fighters. I think they have like old Soviet fighters too, and European fighters. And it's like, if you're a defense contractor, you really couldn't have asked for a better test.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
very progressive.
Yeah, because like if you build Lamborghinis, Ferrari never brings the cars over to test.
Right.
You know, they never bring their newest cars over to test. Right. And this, like, to them, it's like, oh well, let's let this play out. You know, and I think that there was like something that happened to where, you know, everybody was really worried and they had to stop, basically. All like Europe and the United States were like, you can't do this. I think it was probably because one of them targeted a nuclear site or something.
Oh shit!
Because that's game over. They both have nukes.
No, that's good game, man.
But you know, there's so many conflicts all over the country. I mean, there's conflicts over the country too, but world. I mean, and you just think like, are we just kicking the can down the road for World War III? Or are we like, did we postpone it somewhat? Is it possible? Yeah. Like, things seriously have to change, you know? And it's just, it's out in the Middle East, you know, people have just kind of always thought of it out as like a quagmire, right? Because that's what it was described as for so long. And it's just okay to have a different culture. You know, like we just have to, it's just okay that they do different things. You know, some things we don't agree with, but who are we to tell them not to do it?
Right. And people don't realize that there's so many like different skirmishes and wars going on in Africa. It's never on the news ever. There's literally like hundreds of different skirmishes going around all throughout Africa and like genocides and things like that. And it's never covered on the news. Only Middle East, a bomb went off. Oh, people died here. Yeah, that's horrible, but there's no coverage in Africa at all whatsoever. I'm just curious as to why that is.
You know, it's pretty disturbing over there because, you know, they have the child soldiers a lot with, you know, the boom boom. Yeah. You know, which is basically like cocaine and gunpowder. Yeah. And it's almost, I don't know if we're ready for something as disturbing as that, to be honest. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know if we're quite ready for something like that. We should be. But, I mean, we're ready to, like, see, you know, kids getting killed in Gaza or kids getting killed in Israel or what have you. You know, like, but we're just, I don't know. For some reason, there's never really any news out of there. Yeah. You know, like, there's a movie called Hotel Rwanda about, you know, what happened out there. Yeah. But other than that, you don't really see anything. You know, people go back to like the early slave trade or the Blood Diamond. I guess that's kind of one that goes there.
Yeah, I have a friend who looks like the main actor.
DiCaprio?
No, the other dude.
Oh, didn't he die? Did he pass away?
I'm not sure. My friend's still alive, but
well, thank goodness. Hopefully he got out of the diamond trade.
Yeah, he does security now at Sacramento, so. Yeah.
Oh, well, if you look like that dude, because that was a pretty badass looking dude. If you look like that dude, you should be doing something like that where you intimidate people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people are starting to realize that when you buy a phone, it's kind of like you're buying the phone that's made or that like is mined in Congo, right? For like the cobalt and stuff like that. But Africa is kind of just like, people just think of it as like maybe child soldiers, cobalt mines, and lions. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And that might be just it.
Safaris, cobalt mines.
Yeah.
Child soldiers.
I mean, I wouldn't go. I mean, I wouldn't go right now. I'm just, because I don't speak any of those languages. I get a lot of them speak English, but it's just, you know, I just don't feel comfortable taking a vacation in a place where I don't speak the language because it's not very relaxing to me.
Right. Just don't go to South Africa. I'll just tell you that. Yeah. I've seen so many videos out of South Africa. People just getting robbed straight.
Well, especially now, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. You ever seen that video where a guy is driving like a bank? Pretty much he's transporting money for a bank, and dudes just pull up and just with AKs just shoot out the window. No, you ever seen that one?
No.
It's an old classic one, man. It's I think it's a South African guard getting chased by some criminals. But Yeah, you should watch it sometime. It's interesting.
Yeah, we can't be showing that on YouTube. I don't know.
No, he lived. He lived.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he lived. There's some crazy shit on YouTube. I mean, trust me.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. To be honest, I don't know about the new conflict that's going over. I know that there was like a land confiscation or some. I haven't really followed that because, as you know, that's not necessarily the focus. You know, like I also think that maybe it's that they don't have they have mines, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have like I guess the oil or they don't have like any of that kind of thing, right? And also there's not one country there. It's very segmented.
Yeah.
So it's not just one country that could become a threat.
Right.
You know, or whatever. I mean, you know, it's just and there's no nukes. Right?
That we know of, I think, right?
Pretty sure. I mean, Libya is in Africa, right?
Yeah.
So
Gaddafi and all that.
I think that was the last one to have nukes, right?
I'm not sure, but I heard he was a good guy.
Well, you know, I mean, the thing about him is, you know, they didn't want him to have nukes. He had nukes, right? And I guess he gave up the nukes.
Yeah.
And then they fucking killed him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, and then Ukraine had nukes. Mm-hmm. They gave up the nukes, and now they're getting fucked with.
Yeah.
So if you're North Korea, what are you going to do? You're as hell not going to give up your nukes.
You're going to clutch onto that and hold on to it like a baby bottle.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we've taught the world that having nukes is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so... And the way that he died. Yeah, I mean, Muammar Gaddafi, with the way that he died, like... Man. I've seen that video.
Yeah, ragdolled him.
Yeah, and you can see the look on his face, and... Holy shit.
Yeah. He was sort of a badass, to be honest, man.
But then have you ever seen... have you seen... I think it was somebody... Maybe it was Hillary. Hilldog. But she was like... we came, we saw, he died. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that was... But that was right, kind of like before everybody had seen how he died.
Yeah.
That's some... He died like some kind of Genghis Khan way.
Right.
You know?
Like the horse with the ropes and everything.
Yeah, it's just like that spear up the old...
Right. Crazy.
The old what for?
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy work. I've heard a lot of things like ever since he died, the country just went downhill. People I've seen like people talk about he was actually good for the country. I don't know too much about him, but ever since he died, the country just pretty much went downhill. From what I read online. I mean, because it's hard to recover from something that's like I would say semi-stable to just straight up, you know, a new person in the chair. Well,
and also, you know, like when there's nukes involved, there's almost there's an incentive for all the world powers to not let it fall into chaos. You know, and so that when he gave up his nukes, it's like, all right, well, fuck him now.
Yeah.
You know, like who cares?
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's a big who cares. That was wild.
Right.
You know, but it also it set the tone for the rest of, you know, it pushed so many people out of or away from the United States.
Yeah.
And can't blame them almost.
You know what's crazy? I was speaking to you about Ukraine before. So my Uber driver the other day actually, he's from Ukraine, and he said his brother's actually serving there right now. So his brother went to the hospital for... Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
His brother went to the hospital for personal injuries. Like he had like surgery and shit like that. And the Ukrainian military actually grabbed him out of the hospital and said, hey, what do you do? What can you do to be useful for our government? What can you do to be useful for our military? And he said, hey, I'm a driver. So now he drives like a German, like APC, like an armored personnel carrier. And he says they go to villages and it's like basically he's like a quick reaction force. So he has a group of maybe 10, 15 men they need you, say, 30, 40 minutes away. He drives them down there, drops them off, comes back to the village. And he said the way these guys operate sometimes is they would go to like a dairy farm or something like that, like where there's a lot of cows, and they would dress as old women, and they would milk the cows. So the drones above see them as like old women, old men. So there's a lot of psychological shit going on down there. And he was just telling me crazy things. My Uber driver, bro. And he was telling me about these drones. He said that the Americans taught his brother how to avoid drones. You know, the little drones with the bombs on them, like the tiny, like remote controlled shit. Yeah. So he said they taught his brother to, if you get targeted by a drone in the forest, just run around a tree in a circle, and wait till the drone hits a branch and jump the other way. So they're doing all kinds of fucking crazy guerrilla warfare type shit out there, man. Psychological and fucking just a bunch of fuckery, man. It's crazy.
Well, they're using North Koreans out there.
Yeah.
As like I said, I had a guy that was in the military on, but he, as like a bait, like as bait for a drone.
Yeah.
So that the other guys can shoot it out of the air, or maybe not. Maybe they miss.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't. Maybe not that great of a shot.
Right.
And maybe they miss and it hits the guy.
Right.
But they don't really speak the same language anyway.
Yeah.
So they probably just pointed and like.
That's what came to my mind. I'm like, how are they like speaking the same like? Do they speak the Koreans speak Russian, or do the Russians speak a little bit like Korean, or like how does that work? Like I mean,
I imagine I have to think that it's probably. Well, I mean, it's probably like North Korea is taught to speak a little bit of Russian in their schools.
Yeah,
I have to think that because they're so close, right?
Okay,
and they're so allied now.
Yeah,
now they're allied. It hasn't always been that way, but like. I have to think that they can speak a little bit, but it doesn't seem that way.
Maybe they speak English a little bit English here, a little bit English there, and they.
That'd be crazy if they were both speaking English to each other.
Right. So, yeah.
I don't know about that, but like, the drones are a wild addition.
No, for sure, 100%.
And that's what we'll all remember about this era is like the automation of war, and now because there's not just. Well, there's not just aerial drones. There's, ground drones. There's now there's sea drones with those manta ray things that they have. And it's just it's a crazy time because we are now having machines do the killing without having a human behind it.
Right.
And we're having maybe we're just going to eventually have machines killing machines. And then whoever loses the most machines is, that's who wins.
Yeah, Terminator.
But that's probably not going to, like, when they finish with the machines, they're probably going to keep going.
Right.
And I don't know if... I know that we're not ready for it. I'm pretty sure that we're not ready for this.
Yeah.
And so... I don't know what's going to happen. You just... There's really nothing you can do.
Right.
If it does end up going south, then we're just kind of fucked.
Right. Because I feel like for the consumers, they drop technology slowly but surely. They don't want technology to be jumped too fast. I feel like they got some high-tech shit, but they're just giving us the basics for now.
Well, that's how it's been.
Yeah.
Right? Because, whatever they give to us, the military's had it for like 20 years.
Right.
Because... They like the internet, right? I don't want to do dates because somebody's gonna but obviously they had it long they had it way further behind than we had it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for my Stinger missiles. They have them and I still don't. But that's probably a little further off.
Where's my Tomahawk missile, man?
I want a Patriot battery out there.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I have a little drone there, and it's like, I could see how all you would really have to do is have a remote push button on not even on the drone thing, just a remote push button, and that thing drops something.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, there's hundreds of videos circulating online of Russians and Ukrainians using it on each other. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is war now, man. It's not It's crazy. Just a push of a button, little bomb just drops like.
But it's almost like it's almost going the way that is like you don't want it to go because it's the machines killing the people only now.
Right.
You know, and it's just man, you almost just want people to kill people again, like the old days.
Right. Because I've read online some articles about like, sorry about this, like Ukrainian children. Like teenagers, I would say, with the remote control drones, dropping bombs on the Russians. Literally teenagers that are really good at games and really good at controlling drones. And they're using them to drop bombs on soldiers, pretty much. Which is crazy to me. That's fucking crazy.
It is nuts. Well, have you ever... there's this book. Have you ever read the book Ender's Game?
Ender's Game, no.
There was a movie about it, too. I think it was with, like, Harrison Ford. But... so it's about like this kid, right? Some gifted kid, and it's supposed to also kind of tie into like Starship Troopers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that.
But yeah. That's. I'm just doing my part, sir.
Yeah. I'm doing my part.
I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
But you know, it's Ender's Game is like about this kid, and he is really good at some games, right?
Yeah.
Like war games. It's like tactical stuff. And they put him in this simulation. He like has all his friends controlling something, but it ends up like that was not just a simulation. It was the actual invasion.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where we are right now.
Oh shit.
We're at Ender's Game right now, you know, and it's just like all these games in theory people are controlling these drones and like it's just a game for them. But for the people on the ground that were in the hospital that just got taken on either side, you know what I mean? Because that's probably a common story on the other side too.
Yeah.
And for those people, it's just like, how can I get out of this?
Yeah.
You know, like, how can I escape when there's really nowhere to go?
Right.
And I am getting shot out constantly. Right. It's just it's a wild way to live, and I don't think anybody should be living that way. You know, any kind of war with like China would be, you know, missiles to missiles, and like it wouldn't be like you're seeing somebody shoot or anything like that, but equally as bad.
Yeah,
probably worse actually, but I just, man, it's nobody really wants to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants to be there.
No, a war with China and U.S. No, please no.
Well, when you think of like, and when you think of like the war on terror, what it was, twat, if you will.
Yeah. I never heard that one
before. But when you think of that, it was like, obviously at the beginning, it was like, we want to fight for patriotism on one side, and the other side is like, we want to fight for. We're deeply entrenched and we extremely believe in this, right? Yeah. And it was like, but on those sides, like, we don't really want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. You don't want to do this, but you're still doing it,
right?
You know, and it's just it sucks even more,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, we're just lucky to be here sharing a beer.
No, for sure. Cheers on that. Still got my chainsaw
again, huh? Well, that was tinning there. You got to open that one. You got to open that one there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But so are you? So you're still canvassing, but what do people? Obviously, let's go back to like the area because it's a little nail.
Oh, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Should I just open my teeth?
No, what? No. No. You got to do it like this. So this is like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I think maybe the bunny got me. I'm not sure.
Hey,
no, I'm joking.
Well, I haven't met a person that it hasn't got.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be the first, and you're certainly not going to be the last.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Certainly.
Yeah. What were you saying? I apologize for that. The canvassing.
Oh yeah, the canvassing. So I wanted to kind of go back to that because obviously that's kind of in the area. What else have you been hearing? Anybody had suggestions?
Yeah, so pretty much they want like more security in the neighborhood. They said there's a lot of like homeless people running around. Yeah. They said there's like this one dude specifically said there's a naked homeless dude running around the street, throwing shit at people.
Throwing. Well, let's narrow that down. Yeah. Is it shit or is it stuff?
Stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
probably shit. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. I actually met this correctional officer who worked for 30 years actually as a CO, and he told me some crazy stories. That was a dude's door I knocked, and he said if it was 20 years ago, I would have told you to get the fuck off my property. And I'm like, hey, I'm glad it's not 20 years ago. But yeah, he was a CO for about 30 years, and he was just telling me stories about things that happened in the jails and prisons. He's seen like 8 people die. He said he seen like prisoners throw shit and pee and stuff at like guards and things like that. You know, just some crazy shit. I mean, that.
You kind of have unlimited ammo.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just
like,
hold it in the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're constantly making it, and it's just
right.
Why not use it as a projectile? I mean, it is nasty.
Yeah.
Certainly. But yeah, I mean, I know a couple prison guards, and it's just like babysitting. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know people that have been in prison too, and it's just it sucks.
Yeah.
It's not really a place to like make people better.
Yeah.
I actually that's actually the show that I did with my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
We actually discussed like the prison industrial complex.
Did he work as a correctional officer?
No, it was just something he was really interested in. And so it was like, do they rehab people? Do they because a lot of them are for profit, right? Like, yeah. My wife worked in Santa Clara, and the sheriff down there, right back when we lived in San Mateo.
Yeah.
And the sheriff down there, I forget what her name was, but she had basically she had prisoners go to her like summer house and build her an extension or like an ADU or something, like an extra like that's. I mean. Call it what you want, but that's slave labor.
Oh, no, 100%.
Call it what you want.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it was a diverse group, though. There was white people, there was black people, there was Hispanics, there probably wasn't any Asians, but...
no Chinese people.
Yeah, but, like, they were all there building her shit.
Yeah.
And, she would like take trips on like the helicopter or whatever and use them for basically contractor labor.
Oh shit.
Like that is kind of where the prison industrial complex goes because they're for-profit prisons.
Right.
And so I mean, once you're there, you kind of also you're also going to like crime college.
Right.
And so...
I know what you're saying.
So you're going to be in there.
Yeah.
You're not only in trouble and sitting in the corner, but you're learning how to be the best corner sitter and how to constantly sit in the corner.
Right.
Right. And it's just... I don't know. I mean, I don't know any country that really does it perfect. I know countries that do it better, but... I mean, then you have like, it's just an ebb and flow, right? So right now we're just in a period of our time where it's like we want to kind of be nicer or we want to do that. El Salvador they're on a different one.
Oh man, they locked up thousands and thousands of MS-13 gang members.
Yeah, and make them like shave their heads and stuff. Yeah. But that's kind of
like obedient school almost.
I mean, it's almost like what else do you do to people that have had because. People like you or me, I don't know about you, but I don't think I've killed anyone.
No.
And so like people that do that and people that like have been desensitized to that are a different kind of people.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about the human psyche to know that like you don't treat people like that.
Right.
If they've gone through that. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to be treated like that. But also, I know that I shouldn't kill people.
Right.
I mean, I don't step on cockroaches either.
Oh shit.
Although, well,
you give them names or what you do?
No, I actually have the electric tennis racket out there. I just switch it on, and I lay it on there, and they just fry. So it's probably worse.
Gotcha.
It's probably a little worse.
Right.
But that's actually very worse. And kind of probably disturbing. I'm probably on some kind of watch list now.
The cockroach menace.
Yeah, but I mean, and I leave them out there cooked so that it sends a message. That's a trick I learned from Genghis Khan.
Right. That's psychological warfare.
You have to teach them a lesson a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know that obviously killing people is wrong.
Right.
And I don't know about I don't know if there's ever any coming back from that.
Yeah. I've seen in a lot of documentaries and just posts online about people who done those kind of things, and it's very hard to live with yourself. They say they see the people's faces. They just have bad dreams, things like that. So I would imagine, especially if you're a serial killer, I guess they do it for the pleasure, right? Since they've killed a lot of people. But I feel like it's hard. Personally, I would feel like it would be hard to live with yourself if you did something heinous as killing somebody.
Yeah, my wife watches a lot of that true crime stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's how she goes to bed, which means she's probably a serial killer, at heart. But she may not have the time or energy for it,
Right.
So which is good for me.
She's learning the game, man. You gotta be careful, bro.
But she's at least she's at least decompressing a little bit with that. And so
right.
I think it's almost like you have somebody that's compelled to do it, right? It's almost like if you collect Pokemon cards, or if you are you get that one thing in your head that you're always going to go to Starbucks every day, or you're always going to go to McDonald's and get that breakfast thing because you love that sausage egg McMuffin, which I do.
Right.
Which how could you not?
Right.
But it's just ingrained in them. It's kind of like some people just they just go hard with it.
So it's like a tick, almost, you could say.
I would say it probably is.
Yeah. Like someone with Tourette's, how they sometimes just spurt out some things, But
I'm not sure. I know people that have killed people, and they're
legally
just
or like the military or Yeah, edit this out. No, I'm just joking.
It's somewhat.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
somewhat.
Okay,
and it's just I don't know what I don't know that world.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to speak on it,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't seem right.
The only world I know about that is movies and shit. It's not true, but could be to a certain extent. But I have no idea.
Yeah.
How they feel. Yeah.
Jeez. So
cheers to that one, I guess.
Well, go cheers to that, but also how about a higher note? Didn't you just get back from vacation? You get back from Thailand, right?
Yeah, Thailand. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How was it?
Oh man, it was beautiful, bro. Beautiful. My first time my second time out of the country. The first time I went to my country, Armenia, for 5 months. So I was gonna be there originally for 2 months, but I ended up staying because it was my first time meeting my cousins. But that was the first time out of the country. But the second time, Thailand. Yeah. Oh my God.
Did you take one of those? Because everybody that goes to Thailand has to get a picture with either a tiger, or an elephant, or a ladyboy.
No, you got me on the second one. Not
elephant?
Not the ladyboy. Yeah, you got me with the elephant. Yeah, I was on me and my brother went to an elephant sanctuary or whatnot, and then pretty much fed some elephants bananas and shit.
Oh, really?
Rode them for a little bit and then just, dipped out. And, the funny thing is, so this is a whole other thing about the elephants. Not about the elephants, actually about the taxi drivers over there. So as soon as we left the sanctuary, they have an app, it's pretty much similar to Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, so we booked a taxi to go back home. And these guys would snicker over there. We're like, where's our Uber driver? It says they're right here in front of the sanctuary. And then we look over there. The guys are like, hey. I'm like, what the fuck? So pretty much their scam is they want you to pay extra. So the app says $1, right? They're over there like, hey, $10, take it back home. So what they would do is accept the ride and not do nothing, just sit there and chill.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, so that,
Yeah.
but that takes teamwork.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a whole community that has
Yeah.
agreed to not take it.
Yeah.
Imagine being that one dude who's like, guess what? I'm going to take every fare.
Yeah, fuck it, I need the money.
Fuck you guys. I'm going to be that guy who's constantly busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're going to get killed.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. There's
By
there's
6 or 7 lady boys. They're going to jump you.
Yeah, no. They will jump you for sure. But the funny thing was, bro, the guy who in the picture in the Uber app, or no, their Uber app, or whatever you want to say, had the same exact shirt on. So we look at this motherfucker. He's over there just sitting there laughing at us.
He's wearing the same exact shirt?
The same exact fucking t-shirt. It was like
Like
a red
cartoon?
Yeah, it was like a red collared shirt or some shit like that. And we're like, isn't this that motherfucker right there? What is he doing?
Like some Nickelodeon cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he would literally just keep laughing at us. And then we canceled the order and said, driver is not at location. And then guess what? Another one, his buddy accepts the order right there too, laughed at us. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, come on, bro. So we're like, fuck it, bro. We just ordered some like motorbikes or some shit like that. So they just came from like another location. But the fucked up thing was there's another family with a child over there just sitting there waiting for a taxi, but they kept denying them. I'm like, bro, that's fucked up, bro. That pissed me off a lot, man.
Well, that kind of is that's some good advice to people.
Yeah.
Like if you go there, they are just gonna, and that's the other reason I don't want to travel. They're just gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
At first,
They're gonna try to scam you.
You know?
They're gonna try to fuck with you. They're gonna like, oh yeah, you're from America, huh? Oh yeah, you got money. Oh yeah, okay. Let me get all of it, pretty much. So there's also a group of taxi drivers. They're called wind drivers. They're actually motorbike drivers, and they have their own like mafia type group, like gangs, I could say. And I actually befriended like one or two of them.
Oh, nice.
So like literally at like 2-3 a.m. I would wear their vest for them, and I'd be like, hey, to like foreigners, like, hey, free taxi, or not free taxi ride. I'm like, taxi ride, come on, let's go. And I actually got a couple of clients for them, but because I spoke English, right?
Oh, nice.
But they're like a mafia gang type thing. They overcharge people by like 4 or 5 times, and they just want your money, man. And I had a couple of them on the regular app because they don't use apps. They just sit around in corners and they pay maybe like $5,000 for their vests to be allowed to sit in that corner. So literally, it's like gang locations each like around the streets. So each corner has their own people with orange vests. And pretty much they have to pay for that orange vest to be allowed to even stand there, like in populated tourist areas.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're a gang, you could say.
You see, I think I spend too much money on car parts.
Yeah.
To be able to go to another country to be ripped off.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just call me old fashioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I would rather get ripped off here in America.
Yeah.
Because you certainly can.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I went to I just went to Taco Bell today.
Yeah.
And I, was getting my Mexican pizza, and this girl is like, she's got like some, maybe it's not a real Gucci belt, but it says Gucci on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, sir. I know I'm trying to order. It's like, oh my gosh, if I was ever going to eat, I'm certainly not going to get you anything now.
Right.
It's like, sir, can you give me some nacho fries?
Yeah, no.
No.
You got to come at me appropriately, man.
Yeah, then there was a car behind me, and she was asking them. And I got to the window. I was like, hey, just asking, did the guy behind me order any nacho fries? And she's like, no. I was like, good.
Okay.
And like, I realize now it's like, oh, she probably thought that I was like, have this tirade against nacho fries.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, I didn't want him to get like duped or whatever. Like, come on.
So the lady is literally sitting by the drive-through.
Well, no, she was sitting with a bunch of her friends, right, at this like table outside, and then they're giggling, and they're like, "I'm gonna do it," and then so they walked over, and it's like, "Sir, can I have some nacho fries?"
No.
It's I don't know. I'm like, I don't do TikTok. I don't want to be some TikTok trend.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting nacho fries. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell this place to stop serving nacho fries.
Not even me, man. I don't want
I'm going to, not only am I going to order them, I'm going to tell them to just scrap the batch.
Right.
And take a hike today.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just, Yeah, and you're interrupting me when I'm trying to order my 2 Mexican pizzas.
Yeah.
And it ended up they only gave me 1.
Oh shit.
And they only charged me for 1, so I didn't go back. But like, I didn't get satisfied.
Yeah.
With my hunger. That's all.
No, for sure. Because when people come at me like that, like, oh, could you get me this? I mean, if they come at me like, with respect and like, hey, I'm, down on my luck, I need something to eat, I'm hungry. Like, yeah, you know what? Sure, why not? But if they come, hey, can you get me this? Can you buy this? Like, no, what the fuck? What I look like, a charity? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just depends all on like how people approach you, honestly. Yeah. But
well, there's this like corner down there to where it's kind of like by Home Depot, and you turn and there's all kinds of people that hang out there. I think it's prime spot because there's this one like dude that's there with what I thought was his wife, but I guess it's his daughter.
Oh shit.
And she's like older, she's like an adult or whatever, but he's like older, and she like leaves with other cars.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And
gets kidnapped a lot, huh?
I don't know. Maybe she's giving legal advice.
Might be an attorney.
Could be.
Yeah.
But then there's and then there's the other ones that they have the signs or whatever, and then there's this one guy that will come up to your door and like, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And then there's this other guy. It's like this black kind of like a Jamaican guy. He's got like he's got knit stuff on.
Yeah.
But he made it himself. He's making it. He makes it there, and he's like he has a sign that says like, "Be nice to each other" or something like that. It's like, oh damn. And so I think my wife like gave him and his kids a couple burgers or something. But and then he like makes his own clothes and he plays ukulele right there.
Oh shit.
Like that's the message that you want to send, not like the daughter thing, or like the sign thing, or the coming to people's door, like their car doors, right? It's just. I think I might have that guy on the show one day. I think I might.
Fuck it, why not, man?
You heard it here first, folks. I think I might have him on. Not the daughter guy.
Yeah.
The guy that makes his own clothes and plays ukulele.
Yeah.
But it's all about the message that you send out and like how you treat people. If you come at people and ask them from a place of entitlement, they're more apt to be like, go fuck off.
Yeah.
And if they don't, if you're like, hey, I hope you have a good day, or if you just say like, I don't know, even if you just have a good time with like, no lives matter, or or whatever, that it's like, oh yeah, it's true. Nobody really does matter. Actually,
we're all pieces of shit, man.
Yeah,
fuck it.
We all do suck. That's true.
No, I did want to say something though. Like the community here, your community, man, it's really nice.
Yeah,
I'm over there fucking sweating bullets. People are hitting me with fucking sodas, snacks. You know what I mean? Water. And normally I don't really get that kind of thing in Montana. They just say get the fuck off my property, but not really. No, they're nice out there. But yeah, your community is really nice, man. Well, I appreciate that.
But
you're really nice too, man. Look at this.
But yeah, see, those cheap bastards didn't give me any beer.
No, they didn't give me no beer. They're like, oh, we don't have water. We have soda though. I'm like, I'm trying to cut down on sugar, man.
Cheap son of a bitch. Yeah. Well, technically, alcohol is a form of sugar.
Yeah.
It's just really not the kind that rots your teeth.
Right.
Which I'll take it.
Right.
And it doesn't. I guess maybe it gives you diabetes slower. I don't know. But I know more people that eat sweet stuff that have diabetes problems than alcoholics.
Right.
It's usually more about the liver then.
Yeah.
Or heart, or lungs, because you usually smoke too. But it's certainly not the diabetes.
Yeah.
We can rule that out at least.
Right.
But yeah, that's actually one of the things that, because when we were looking for houses, we went and we met the neighbors.
Oh, right.
And so that was one of the selling points.
Is that your form of canvassing, I guess?
Somewhat. It's targeted though. Neighbors. It's almost like I'm set as like a little bomb, and my blast radius is like 2 houses to the side.
Right.
You know, and so every time it was like, look at the houses. What do you see? And if they're out there, talk to them. You know, like, who lives here? Is it a tweaker house?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because people will, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
They're not shy. They'll let you know, like, hey, just to let you know, you're going to move into a tweaker house.
Yeah, there goes Bob over there in the corner, you know, smoking crack or something, you know.
Yeah. Dude, my buddy did that in Roseville, right?
Yeah.
He bought this house for, like, I think $95,000 or something.
Oh, shit.
And this was not that long ago. It was probably, like, 2010. So, long time ago, but not, like, in the 80s, right? And so it turned out to be, like, it was owned by a person of questionable character, we'll say. And, you know, there was all kinds of weird things. And but now, like, he lives there and he fixed things up or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like $1 million house.
Oh, shit.
You know, so it's just, sometimes you can find that bargain.
Yep.
You know, that's kind of what we were looking for. But the other one that we did look for that we were going to buy is, like, it had like a whole slant to it.
Okay, so
you know,
the
like,
foundation?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, that's risky.
And so I was like, and I had like a pen or a Sharpie with me, and I just like took off the cap. I was like, drop, and it's like, oh, it's rolling.
Yeah.
No, this is not good.
Was it on discount or something?
It was in Woodland, and so it was like, that's a more expensive area than here.
Yeah.
It's, allegedly, it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And
like the school system there sucked. You know, it was like, well, at least the one we went to kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But a slant, you can't fix that. Really.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's beyond me.
Yeah, the whole foundation is just, cooked.
Yeah, it's way beyond me to fix. I couldn't do it. See, here, like, I obviously did all the garage, right? Drywall, insulation, floors, and I had to do, like, the electrical for the house, and my wife did the plumbing, right? And so, and other things in the house. We had to build little pony walls and add new doors, whatever.
Yeah.
But nothing like that. You know, you can't just jack up a house. Or maybe you can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Right.
So, but I didn't want to find out, and it wasn't something I wanted to get involved in.
So what made you move here specifically?
The neighbors.
The neighbors? So
yeah.
Like I said, you canvass them and then just take the area out. I think that's a good business idea, you know. If people want to buy a house or move in the neighborhood, just send a couple of people, walk around for a week or so, you know.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is, right? Because you're like, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
You're going to be there, and you're going to have a presence. How are they going to react to it?
Right.
You know, so these people were super nice. These people were super nice. There was a couple of vacant houses, you know, and, you know, they ended up getting rented by nice people.
Yeah.
And one got bought by a nice family, you know. But I guess we got kind of lucky, you know, because it is kind of nice, but not too far over.
Yeah.
Is houses with bars on the windows.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
You know, and we almost went that route because there was a house that had more land that we could get that was, you know, in that area.
So was the property value higher because of that? Because more land? Or
it was slightly less.
Oh, okay.
With more land. Because the area was so shitty.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense. It's kind of like it was like on septic, I think. You know, and that has its pros and cons, certainly. But it puts all the responsibility on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, but I already pay taxes.
Yeah.
Somebody should do it for me.
Right.
Because I pay taxes. Because everybody else to pay taxes, somebody does it for them.
Yeah.
And now you got to pay to have your own little septic tank.
Yeah.
And if anything goes wrong, God forbid, there's some shit overflowing in there. Like that.
Yeah.
That kind of, those stories are the material of nightmares.
Yeah.
You know, just to have like, you walk out one day and it's just a shit lake.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not just, obviously it's you and your family's shit, but it's like, it's a long time's worth of shit.
Right.
Out there.
Might as well start a fertilizer company.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not something that's like, I almost would rather move.
Right.
Than have to deal with that and fix it.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that say the opposite. That's like, that's a real soft opinion. Sure, it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any experience with the septic tank, so I couldn't do it. Yeah, to each his own, though.
Yeah, in my country, they do have a lot of that. Literally, the squatters call them. So you just like squat, drops in a hole. That's
Wait, where?
In Armenia.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of modern, sewage.
I thought you were gonna say you're from India.
No, not India. No, not India. No, but there's a lot of modern, bathrooms and things like that. But my uncle's house, yeah, it was a squatter, so I didn't really like visiting too much. But
your uncle was a squatter?
No. The bathroom.
Oh,
yeah.
It was just a hole.
Yeah, just a hole in the ground. It's like Shrek from the movie Shrek.
Yeah,
like his bathroom. It's like a little door, and then you just fucking shit in a hole.
Holy shit, that's like Boy Scout camp.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm like,
shout out to Wolfboro.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I couldn't do it because I'm so used to just sitting on the toilet, taking a shit, flushing it.
I mean, well, one thing that I will say, and I don't know if this invention came from Europe or the Middle East.
Yeah.
But I know a shitload, and again, pun intended, of Middle Eastern families that have one of these. It's a bidet, right? And my wife got one put in.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that I made it this long without one.
Yeah.
It's just, my God, what an invention. It's just, there's no blood anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, like, I have been spreading, like, the gospel of the bidet to all my friends, right?
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, he's been on the show. He recently had basically one of his vertebrae explode in his back because he fell down.
Goddamn.
So he had to he's learning to walk again. But before when he got injured, he was in the middle of a bathroom remodel.
Oh shit.
And so, which he wasn't doing. It was, somebody he hired to do it, but he made sure they put in a bidet based on my instructions because I recommended it, right? And now the nurses were like, well, it's a good thing that you're going to put one in because you're not going to be able to wipe. And so now what was a luxury has become a necessity.
Right.
But he'll never look back.
Yeah.
You never look back.
Yeah, literally.
On that kind of stuff, like traveling and everything like that, when you have to use the paper. Whew.
Yeah.
No.
You don't see blood no more.
You sweating just thinking of the paper.
Yeah.
I almost if I didn't have women, I just wouldn't keep it at all.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a wild invention to have.
Yeah.
I don't know if it came from France or Iran, but kudos and hats off to whoever did that.
It's funny you bring that up because I sort of missed that. In Thailand, they actually had little nozzles, like a hose. Basically, it's connected to the water system. So literally, it's like a little nozzle and power, basically like a power washer.
Yeah.
So after you take a shit, literally you wipe or whatever, and then you go just fucking pipe it down.
Oh, it's like a handheld?
Yeah, like a handheld.
Okay.
Think of like a water hose or something like that.
Like one of those things that dentists use to winch out your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly what it is. Yes, and every single house in Thailand had one, and I miss it.
Well, see, mine's a stationary mount.
Yeah.
It's like a machine gun turret mount rather than a pistol.
Yeah.
And so I had to I've had to learn how to twerk a little bit. You get all the angles.
Get all the little nooks and crannies over there. Yeah.
You have the bidet.
Yeah.
You want to get the angles? You got to twerk.
Yeah.
A little bit, at least.
Right.
Or make it a good attempt.
You gotta be semi, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I ought to get the handheld one.
Right.
Although it's nice for the abs.
Oh, no, for sure, yeah.
Especially the lower abs.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
No, but that's the thing. When I first took a shit back in America, I'm like, where the fuck is I look to my right, try to find the little fucking nozzle or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, you're like,
I had to get the fucking wet wipes. I'm like, oh, shit.
This backwards ass country doesn't have anything for me to shoot
what are
my
we,
ass
third
with.
world country, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in a world with pressurized water.
Right.
I mean, let me get some.
Yeah.
That really, it's so underrated, and it's only because people haven't been introduced to it.
Right.
Because the idea of it, the first time I tried it, I was like, whoa. It's a real surprise.
Yeah.
It really is.
No, I bet.
It's a real how do you do.
Yeah.
But when you get used to that, it's man, I don't know how people get along without it now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do miss my pistol nozzle, like you said. So,
the quick shot.
Yeah. The
6-shooter.
Yeah.
You're Dirty Harry.
Right.
Damn. Well, you got a bunch tomorrow then, right?
Going on? Yeah. Tomorrow I think I got I'm probably gonna do another like 200 houses. As far as work goes.
In the area?
Yeah. No, I think I showed you the map, right?
Yeah.
It's like fucking red dots everywhere.
It was all red.
Yeah. No, before the beginning of the day, man, I was like, how the fuck am I going to accomplish all this shit, man? Because it's stressful looking at all the houses I have to go to. And then once you're like in the middle of the day, you're like, I guess I did a little dent, I did some damage.
Well, I saw all your spots and it was like, I saw the sidewalks and there's some red spots on the sidewalks. That's probably the tent encampments over there by the fire hydrant that they undid.
Yeah, I tried to go find Kingpin, man, but I guess I had to remove his dot. Couldn't find him, so.
You got to watch that Harley.
Yeah.
You
know, the funny thing is, as I was taking a left to the trail, I actually seen a Harley come down the road.
Oh, yeah?
No shitting you, yeah.
Hey.
I'm like, is that the Kingpin? But it looked like a tatted up like a Hell's Angel type dude or something like that. So I'm like, it's probably not him, right?
I don't know. I've never seen him. I've only seen the bike because I don't know which one is him.
Yeah.
Like when he's in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't see anyone. So maybe they be having a little meeting inside of their urban teepees.
Urban teepees, that's a good one. Yeah.
But hey man, I appreciate you stopping by tomorrow.
Oh no, for sure.
Come by for a beer.
Oh no, for sure. I will.
We'll do it off cam.
Yeah, no, for sure, brother.
But I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
And be safe out there.
No, for sure, man. I'm happy to have ran into you and met you. So,
hey,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See ya.